show started. Got it here. RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. Look at the microphone over the red thing. Well, hello, outdoors. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers. This is my partner, coaches in crime, the man himself. This is true. That is amazing. See fit, hold your breath, see blue. I'm on it. Like a hobo on a handle tangle. Good evening, everybody. This is our 1 hour vacation during the week. This is our most exciting time. If you're watching this live on video, like this, I am a guinea pig for this young lady, and she entrusts me to wear this thing out so you over here will get quality gear. We have actually put some curtains on some of her bracelets, and they are extremely durable. So check her out at GoAway.com. It's a lot of cool winning stuff, you know? Christmas is coming. Keep your eyes on it. Mike, did we do anything exciting this weekend? I'm going to tell you what I did. I didn't do a whole lot of exciting stuff, I'll promise you. It was semi-exciting, but it wasn't that exciting. I'm doing a house rehab for one of the mother-in-laws of...
Mother-in-laws?
For Carlos with the Monsters. So that was my time. I didn't get outdoors a whole lot. We did get to peek in on the bear hunt, which we'll be talking about tonight. But right now,
we better be, or something seriously wrong.
We're going to get into our topics really quick tonight. I've gotten tons of messages and emails and all that good stuff. I don't know what we have in mail, but
we got some good mails tonight.
Did we get some mails?
Oof.
So we're going to jump right into that tonight. How was your weekend? You guys had a show this weekend.
Let me read you something.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going to enjoy this. Ready? After all, this is Do It To It Tuesday, right?
I do it to it Tuesday. How do you remember that?
I read something said the breeding population of the lesser snow geese exceeds 5 million birds, an increase of more than 300% since the mid-1970s. The population is increasing at a rate of more than 5% per year. The population...
Are you ready? I know who posted that, by the way.
Did anyone else on Facebook think, what is Rodney smoking?
Do you know why I posted that?
Or did Rodney finally figure out how to copy and paste from Wikipedia?
That's exactly what I did. I copied and pasted that. Here's what happened. Mike, I'm gonna give you that story.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
This whole bear hunt has caused somewhat of an uproar. You think? Somewhat.
Snow geese, Rodney.
But no. This was pointed at some guy goes from Canada, where a lot of the snow geese in Alaska, these things are on the tundra. Now, this guy goes, these Americans are coming up here and just killing snow geese and leaving them on the ground. Well, the Canadians asked hunters to do just that. Are you ready for this? The caribou eat what's called a lichen. That's their diet. They eat lichen. Well, when you get 5 million snow geese on the tundra eating the lichen as well.
What is a lichen?
A lichen is like a little fungus that grows up there in the cold, and that's what they eat. And so do the caribou. Well, they're basically eating everybody's food source. So the Canadian government wants us, the Americans, because we'll pay to go up there and just shoot geese all day and leave them laying, and we'll take what we can eat in order to help the caribou, which is what everybody else hunts. It's a big dollar. So basically, not everybody in the world has the same conservation about tonight.
Interesting.
We're going to talk about why do we hunt? What does it benefit? have any animals gone extinct because of hunting? So, I mean, there's going to be a ton of questions, the same questions I posted on our website today. So we're going to be answering a ton of questions. If you're listening and you have that bear question, Rodney, did we do the right thing? Should we have done this? Are you against it, for it? By all means, 262-345. You can see it right there. 345-7763. Give us a call. Let's talk about this. Or hashtag us at hashtag RROR, Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio. That's what that stands for.
I'm like an old pro at this.
I'm getting good at this, Mike.
The show tonight, and I would absolutely love if I knew somebody who harvested a bear this week.
Oh, yeah. If you harvested a bear, definitely call.
Free t-shirt.
Yeah, free
t-shirt.
Got a
t-shirt
yeah.
We can give these people.
Well, we got a Rodney Rogers Outdoors t-shirt coming at you.
I would love for somebody to call in.
We have the new order. Everybody that we're giving free, there's extra large right now, and they should be in this week. So
if you're an extra large and you harvested a bear this week,
we're not wanting to bash anybody.
No, I'm incredibly curious.
Yeah,
because this was I don't want to get into it too soon, but this was a big deal. This was national news.
Let's get into it, Mike. I think that now's the well, I'm jumping the gun, ain't I? Let me just
back it down, Rodney.
Just
got a lot to do tonight.
Ease it now. We got a lot to do.
I'll keep us on time, but we got a lot to do.
We got
tonight.
a lot to squeeze in an hour. So let's turn it over to you for the minute.
Outside opinions. Do we have any takers?
Oh, yes, we do. Actually, we do have outside opinions taker. Do you have that email on your side?
Well, I was monitoring the emails because we did episode 1 of Outside Opinions, which is basically, let me describe it for those who don't know.
Please do.
We want to do a review show, but the fact of the matter is we can't own everything, nor can we afford everything that we want to review. So if you've got a product, or if you've got anything that you like, dislike, that you own, we want to review your toys. We want to play with your toys.
Except the flat irons. We're not interested in your flat iron.
Thanks for narrowing that down a little bit. It's probably important.
You and I could not use the flat iron.
But we'd actually love to come to where you're at, interview you, have you do a product review with us. We'll bring the cameras and we'll do a little podcast of it. But because there's nobody better to ask an opinion of somebody who owns that product.
Your gear with you.
Period.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. We do have a taker. We're going to be reviewing the Glock. There's a couple parts of the Glock we're going to be reviewing. And one is a Glock barrel that fits into the Glocks. I'll give you the whole scoop, but just to give you a kind of hint of what's going on.
So more than just a gun, a specific part of a gun.
Yes. It's actually an interchangeable barrel. It's one Glock that you can turn into several guns, 9mm, 40 caliber, 357. So we're going to be reviewing them in one gun.
Okay. Is there a reason you're putting the finger that's missing when you're doing that? Okay.
Trying to, I'm doing 3.
You didn't shoot off a finger. That you weren't trying to insinuate something.
So yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm excited about that.
So yes, we do have an email. We are going to review the Glock. I believe it's with Ivan.
Ivan, I think that is correct.
I think it is Ivan.
Oh, you're pointing over. You're pointing at your own stuff.
Why am I
pointing at my stuff?
It's Ivan right there. Ivan, get out of here, Ivan.
Rodney, let's get into some news.
Let's do it. Let's
do some news. We got to keep this thing moving because tonight is a busy night.
Let's get it.
Here we go. News number 1 says that internet's slow. Judge rules Florida bear hunt can go forward.
Mike, let me
wait a minute. That is old news.
It is.
All right. Let me jump to this one. This is much more current news. That the Florida bear hunt. And again, this made national news. This was interesting for us because we're here. This is our week-long bear hunt ends in just 2 days.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was not a week-long bear hunt. I want to strike that from the records. It was a potential week-long. It was designed for 2 days, and that is it. And then they decided to extend it to a week-long. So
really?
The preliminary was just 2 days. That was it. They were only going to hunt 2 days, and what was harvested at that point was harvested. Then they decided, in their judge, they goes, well, let's extend it potentially for a week, but you have to call this number, every night for that week to see if it goes
goes longer.
Right.
So it was a 2-day hunt with the opportunity of extending if we didn't meet
up
a
until
quota.
a week long. So it was not a week hunt. I want to scrap that out of there. Period. It was
Misconception, I believe,
yes,
right?
it was not intended to be a week hunt. So
because if you search on, if you Google Florida bear hunt, Florida black bear hunt 2015,
it's 24th and 25th.
Yep. But what the headlines are today is ends in just 2 days. 295 bears killed in just 2 days.
Exactly. That's the media's way of trying to build up this. They're trying to get news, and it's what they do. It's what they do.
Okay. So there you go.
There you go. Oh, so we harvested. Is there a final number? I cannot find that final number.
Well, the posted final number is
295.
295.
Okay.
But you were on the radio yesterday talking about this. That was as of Sunday night.
Yeah, that was a Sunday night.
But you're
they
right.
Had 12. So, there's a little leeway there. So I haven't heard a final number.
Will they even?
Yeah, they'll post it.
They will post it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you what. Being in that Tallahassee office with our friend Tony Young, I learned a lot. I learned that everything has to be, the P's and Q's have to be, there's no hiding anything. Everything has to be brought forth, and we're going to talk about that in our talks tonight, and I'm going to tell you why and all that good stuff. I appreciate everything the FWC does. I'm not bashing the FWC for this. It's just statistics. It's why things happen.
Well, it's interesting. And we've got a couple other news stories that we may just bypass because this is the big deal.
This is a big deal.
I mean,
yeah.
How long has it been since we had a bear hunt in Florida?
21 years.
21 years.
Yeah, 21.
But a lot of the questions I was seeing is a lot of the researches that had gone on was 2002, I think, was when they had estimated there was 3,000 bears in Florida, which is kind of the number we've been going on.
Right.
But that was 2002.
Right.
So I guess there's assuming, well, there's a lot more now.
Which is a fair assumption.
Yeah, it is.
There's on average about 160 bears killed on the highways per year. And that's how they determine that's one number they use in determining the overall count, because you can't go out there and go 1 bear, 2 bears. Oh, wait a minute. Did I count that bear? Hold on. Let's start over. It's 1 bear, 2 bears, 3. So they have to do area, count, assume. So there's a lot of research that goes into this. And that's what I was posting, that even though we sold, over 4,000 licenses, it probably didn't cover the cost of what it took to still do research. It's not like we based all of our information on 2002 old information. We still had a guy out there. I met the guy still doing bear research up until the last minute. I met the guy personally.
That might have been one of the most valuable stops you've ever made.
That I ever made. Exactly. Yeah. And now that same guy is now in the Everglades trying to figure out why the population of white-tailed deer has declined. So now he's down there for a couple of years. So that's his job. He shoots in there and does all these assessments. Oh,
Todd Anderson.
Just
posted on Twitter.
Okay.
There has to be more bears than that.
Absolutely. And this is what we're getting into.
And that's a huge point.
Yeah, it's a very huge point. We harvested so many so fast. That tells us that we have a lot more bears than expected. I do not fault the FWC. And you got people going, oh, there's old information. Well, bears don't die off that fast naturally. I was afraid that we have not done our due diligence, but talking to the guys, because you even called me out on this. You said, Rodney, last week you was all against this bear hunt.
Sure, yeah.
Because I was going off the media hype. To the gentleman, our buddy, Tony Young, and then, the guy he works with. I had his card. I forgot his name, but I'm taking him turkey hunting. I want to. I'm going to surprise him. But anyway, and then understanding.
Are you kidnapping him and just
I'm kidnapping.
That's a great surprise.
An FWC officer. We'll take. So
come with me, buddy.
And then hearing what they went through, how they derived from this, it's not that it attacked somebody.
But Rodney, I think part of the confusion is, or something that seems to be muddying the waters with this whole thing, is because on one part you have the news reports of a bear that's into suburban areas or getting in garbage cans. I think that whole thing muddies the whole, that there's a bear hunting season of the population of bears. They're correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. I don't think they've created a bear hunting season because a bear was getting in somebody's garbage can.
No, that's exactly right.
And I think that's what people
are
perceiving.
Yeah. Do not quote me on this, but this was going on. The assessment was going on long before bears were in garbage cans. Here's the problem. Let's take our audience. If you're looking for groceries, you walk out into a parking lot, what are you going to find? You're going to find an empty parking lot. There's nothing for you to eat there. So you have to go to another parking lot. I'll get to a point here. So my point is, there's nothing there, and that's the way the bears are. We're ate berries, where they ate their swamp cabbage is now gone. We've taken their habitat and built homes on it.
But does that have anything to do with us having the necessity to create a bear hunting season? I think they're two separate things.
Well, here's why. Here's why the whole season has to take place. So now that we take part of their environment, they can't live in certain places because their food is not sustainable in that area. That's why there's 7 bear management units.
Are they not sustainable, or is it easier going to somebody's garbage can?
Well, in part, it's easier. Anything will take the path of least resistance.
So, I mean, that's why they're now. I think they're mandating bear-proof garbage cans, right?
Absolutely.
To force bears to go back to their natural habitat and get food how they normally would.
Bears are not territorial. They don't nail down this one area and go, this is mine, like an alligator.
They just want food.
They just want food. A male will travel up to 120 miles to 120 mile radius to find food. If you take his food away, he's got to go to the easiest place. And it's going to be these neighborhoods that people, you know what? There's a ton of people out there feeding these bears, just like there's a ton of people out there feeding alligators. Don't say you're not. Be the guilty party and stop. You're hurting these bears. You're the reason.
It's true
that these bears are hurting. So
it's cute.
While I am not a bear hunter, I'm just not the guy. I am a hunter and a conservationist.
Yet.
I mean, if I'm in Alaska, will I shoot a bear? Who knows?
But why is it? But here's the thing. Why is it that in Florida, it's because we see the cute little cuddly bear that you sleep with at night. That's the stuffed bear thing. But in Florida, it's a different thing. You go bear hunting in Florida. Colorado people don't have the same perception that Florida people do.
Yeah. Well, Colorado does not have the same bear. We have two.
But that's not it. That's not it. The people who are protesting aren't protesting, I don't believe,
you're right,
because it's a unique.
No. I see.
That's
what you're saying.
Very unknown fact. I believe that the Florida black bear is a very unique species, only unique to Florida.
No,
I don't think that's the argument.
No, right. That's not the argument, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
That the Florida species is a Florida. The Keys deer is
exactly same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Here's a couple reasons. One is there's a lot more bears in Colorado or Montana, or the bear count is a lot higher. They don't have the influx of people who do not hunt. We have the influx from Europeans. I mean, we're a tourist state that a lot of people move to.
New Yorkians.
A New Yorkian. I mean, and you know what? It sounds funny, but New Jersey, New York,
that's true.
A lot of people aren't used to that hunting heritage.
And so when we see the bear out our back window playing in our swimming pool,
right? It's
unique. It's cute. It ain't this cool.
It ain't this.
Why would you shoot them?
Why would you shoot this? Yeah. So,
but that's unrelated to WC has created a bear hunting season, not because bears are out back of people's yards playing in their swimming pools. Am I right?
So here's my theory on the theory. I'm not going to quote anybody. So you have two areas. You have where we built the houses and the bears are in. We built it in their habitat, but I'm not going to blame it on us building in their habitat. Here we have several bears per area. So if these bears are roaming, if there's, let's
roaming in a circle according to your hand. They're just going.
Let's give a number. There's 500 bears in a residential area. There's 1,000 bears in the non-residential area. That's a lot of competition for food. They won't fight for it. They're not territorial. They'll just move around. That's how they work. Now, if you thin out bears to a little bit thinner number, now the potential of these bears going back to their natural, where they don't have to fight for their own food, is more prevalent. So these bears can now go back to, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Go back to their natural forage and not so much the garbage.
Yes.
Garbage, because it's getting harder to get. We're going to get bear-proof cans. We're going to spray them. It's too much for work for them.
So
path of least resistance.
Exactly.
They'll push back to their natural habitat. When you have that heavy competition, bears are not herding animals. They're not deer. They're not elk. They're not caribou. They don't herd. They're very isolate creatures. I mean, they're loners. Males, females have their cubs for 2 years, and that's all they run with. They don't run with other females, with other cubs. So when they have to compete for all this food, they'll take the path of the neighborhoods. Well, if we thin out this area to a manageable number, then they'll go back to their natural forage and pull out of these neighborhoods. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a week. It may take a year or two when they don't have that competition, because they're not eating garbage all the time. Their main forage is still the woods. And once they find out that they don't have that competition as they did before, then they'll start pushing back into the forest. That's the theory. Does that make sense?
It does. And the manageable number is a key statement.
The manageable number is the key statement, because the fact is, whether you like it or not, we're building in their habitat. So we're squeezing these bears in. Like it or not, the FWC of hunting land, manageable land.
Sure. And it's also, I think it's important to distinguish again, I think a lot of this dispute is between what people on the news see as bears encroaching on neighborhoods,
right,
and garbage cans.
It's the news.
That is something totally separate from what the FWC. They haven't created a bear hunting season because bears are getting in people's garbage.
Right.
It's two separate issues, but I think it's all been blended together.
This is a long-term issue that is going to work itself out. Ryan said it's going to work itself out. I mean, this is a projected plan. This is not something they're doing to keep you right now.
Great point.
This is where the research comes in.
Great point.
And which is going to take us into what we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
How are we paying for all of this? How does this money come into effect? Is it being pulled from our tax dollars? Where's it being pulled from? That's the big question. So, excuse me, but we're going to put in a little bit of political, which we promised we'd never talk political. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight.
You got a lot of backfiring going on there, don't you?
Yeah, it's
bodily backfiring. I'm not sure what this is about.
It's coming at me, dog. It's coming at me. So we're going to be talking a little bit political, and I'm going to tell you why we do the things we do. The questions of let me pull up my own questions.
Make it quick, Rodney. We got to move this train down the tracks.
Let me pull up my questions, Mike. Okay, here we go. So the questions are tonight, and this is the questions I've been getting. Why is their hunting allowed? Period. What is the benefit of hunting? What laws protect the hunters? Can anyone hunt? Has any animal ever been hunted to extinction? And what is the single most important event that has ever happened to hunting? I'm going to try to answer those questions as quick as I can.
Very good. And Todd, stay tuned. I see your question. We're going to get to that too as soon as we're done with this commercial break.
With 116,000 foreclosures in the state of Florida alone as of January 24, a quality contractor is critical to the process of returning a foreclosed house back into a home. Let me introduce you to Phillips Contracting Incorporated. They are Florida State certified and an approved REO repair vendor for both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. PCI currently provides multi-level services to realtors, banks, asset managers, and private homeowners. Although they specialize in dealing with REO property repairs, they are a design-build company.
Here at PCI, we pride ourselves on professional, high-quality work. Our clients know that we're not your typical contractor. We're proud to be reliable, trustworthy partners with you. Our repair coordinators are ready to communicate with you honestly and quickly about every aspect of your project. We're here to say yes to our clients.
Phillips Contracting services Florida from Orlando to Miami. Looking for a quote, repair updates, or just want to talk business? Give them a call at 941-483-3800.
Gnarly barley, come see why the whole world's singing. No,
What are you doing?
dude, I am writing a song for Gnarly Barley.
I see that, but first of all, I didn't realize you could sing. Second of all, why don't you just tell the people how great the Gnarly Barley is, give them the address, and move on with the show?
Dude, have you ever had their flatbread? Their jalapeno flatbread with the cream cheese on top and the chicken and the special sauce on it. Holy moly. No, wait a minute. Obviously, by the look on your face, you ain't never had that big time fiesta. Jalapenos, provolone cheese, tomatoes, red onions, and again, fiesta lime.
Okay, that's it. Shut up, Chubb. We're out of here.
Are you serious?
Come on, we're out of here.
Gems. The Gnarly Barley offers a contemporary selection of bites and brews, serving a mind-blowing selection of craft beers and original mouth-watering menu creations. The Gnarly Barley and its incredibly accommodating staff have created a place that really is difficult to put into words. So do yourself a huge favor and come see why people are singing the praises of the Gnarly Barley.
Oh my goodness.
I told you that big time fiesta.
That is phenomenal. I totally get why you're trying to write a song for that.
Not as simple as you thought, huh?
No. Okay, check this out. Gnarly Barley.
Come see why the whole town's singing
Gnarly Barley.
Located at 7431 South Orange Avenue in Orlando, Florida.
And here we are back at it. While we got the Gnarly Barley, pop on there, Mike. We are approved for our 100th episode.
Hold up. Hold the phone. This is actually episode 90. We're 10 episodes away.
10 episodes away.
And if calculations permit, this will be the first Tuesday of 2016, which will be exciting. That we're going to have a live, say it again,
live at Gnarly Barley. So we're doing a 2-hour special. I don't know how long, 3 hours, who knows? Live from Gnarly Barley. So you'll see us. We'll have a tent set up.
But more importantly, you're invited.
You are absolutely invited. We'll be just having a blast. I got the full approval Saturday night, Friday. I don't know what night it was. I spoke to the owners. I spoke to both of them. Trace and Joey are absolutely phenomenal. We got Zach up the bar. We got great place. Craft beer. The food is.
You didn't say craft beer, did you?
Craft.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Just making sure.
Sour beer is not so good. I'm not a big sour beer guy, but they have tons. So it's going to be a great time.
If you've never been there,
you need to go.
What time is it? Okay. Yeah, you can still go.
And we're going to have some surprise guests. I won't even go. If they show up, great. But I got a feeling they're showing up.
You got to go. I mean,
so yeah, it's going to be awesome.
First and foremost, you are officially, if you're hearing this now, you're officially invited.
And if you're not hearing it, we'll officially invite you
10 times more.
I just found out how to invite people. people.
The show, but yes.
Okay.
So Gnarly Barley, yes. First, our 100th episode is going to be live from the Gnarly Barley. We'll be video broadcasting it just as we are here, but we'll be at the Gnarly Barley. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, Mike, we have a question.
We do.
Via hashtag Twitter.
Yep.
Hashtag RROR.
Yep. We monitor that. So if you want to ask questions live, if you're too shy to call in, or if you just prefer, if you're a Twitter kind of guy or
Twitter
gal.
away.
But Todd is asking us, do you think this will be a yearly season? We've been talking about the bear hunting season. Do you think this is going to be a yearly thing? Also, the news loves to scare the public.
Yes, the news does love to scare the public. So let's...
I totally agree with Todd.
Yeah. That's what the news does.
I like the weather. I wish it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
I actually know a guy for the news for years.
Right.
As a camera videographer.
And he was like, "Them people's crazy."
He got out of it. I mean, he's still a video guy, but he got out of the news just because so much of this kind of stuff it really does drive what they do.
Well, 80% of the population feeds off of that. They absorb that drama. They want something to go so bad in their lives, they have to absorb that crap. And that's why we're here.
More.
So do I think this will be a yearly hunt? I do not. I think this is going to be a per basis status.
Do you think it's going to be next year?
It's going to be up in the air. They've got to weigh out the calculations and see within the first 5 or 6 months how this is going to affect. Because remember, that effect I talked about. You know, are these bears going to move out? Are we going to thin these out so they have more range to roam? So there is a bigger picture here that a lot of people are not seeing. Again, I'm not a bear hunter.
Well, let me ask you this, Rodney. One of the headlines, or the headline was, after this thing ended,
Grandpa bear shot.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. No, that the 295 is the number they're using.
Yeah.
In 2 days, and it's over.
Yeah.
So they reached that number, according to the headlines, quicker than they had anticipated. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's exactly what they anticipated. That's why they originally set this out for 2 days.
Or they wouldn't have done that.
Or they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
That's why it's exactly, and I even told Jim Phillips on the Phillips file. Now, Jim Phillips and I thought they would not reach it in 2 days. It was a surprise for me.
Well, because you had said I've barely seen a bear.
I've seen
so
one
how are
bear.
They going to go find them? How did they find 300
well,
bears?
Here's the thing. The people who bought the license mostly were people in those areas. You know what I mean?
So they know. I've seen a bear every other day.
I hunt this area. A lot of it was killed on private land. You know, there's a lot of private land in the Ocala National Forest. North Florida is predominantly private land.
Yeah, but also, I mean, to break this down, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was 295 bears statewide, but there was 4 bear management
unit areas.
And so that was divided up. I don't know what the numbers were. How many was in Ocala, the central?
I think Ocala had the most, which was just a little over 100. Yeah, it was a little over 106, 107.
So this was broken down statewide. The 295 number was a statewide number.
Absolutely. It was a statewide number. So there was only like 30 from South Florida. And this number picked up very quick, which tells you a couple things. One is there are a lot of bears out there. I mean, if you're finding them that quick, you only had 4,000 tags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to understand hunting in order to understand that.
Let me ask this question.
Absolutely.
We're this thing is moving like light speed tonight, so we're going to get through this thing.
I know.
But we did have one viewer mail that we bypassed that I want to ask because it was related to bear hunting.
Let's do it.
So Domino from Lake County, Domino from Lake County. So has because this is prevalent to what we're talking about. Has Florida ever used another method to make a more limited number of hunting permits available, such as an auction or lottery, like with alligator hunting? If 300 and this resonated with me. If 300 people, or if 300 bears was the maximum before they were cutting the season off, they knew. Okay. Why didn't they
sell 340 tags?
Is it a money thing? And not that that's I guess I can't knock it if it was.
There's a couple things, and I've learned a lot in my research because I've done a little bit of research. It's very expensive, and this is what we're going to get into. I'm glad that is a phenomenal question.
You can thank the domino.
Thank you, Domino. This right here is a great question, and here's the reason. Tax dollars in the state of Florida are not spent. When you buy your car, when you buy your groceries, that money is not spent on Florida wildlife. That money does not come from that. FWC is funded from trust funds from your alligator tags, your bass tags, your panther tag, these special tags from the Pittman and Robertson Act. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Have you ever heard of that?
I heard it because I was listening to 104.1 yesterday morning, and you were on the radio talking about this.
The Pittman and Robertson Act is a federal aid wildlife restoration act that was enacted by FDR.
That's why you posted FDR's picture today. I thought it was his birthday.
That was Theodore.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
But he was a hunter.
It was a Roosevelt.
It was a Roosevelt. So Franklin D. Roosevelt signed into law in 1937 the Pittman and Robertson Act. What is that? Let me give you the short version. That is a tax on, it first started with just long guns, a 10% tax on rifles that was specifically for hunting because there was no fun. A lot of animals 13 animals in the world have been extinct because of hunting. Now, I'm sure there's more, but they really haven't regularly. All before the 1800s when we didn't have any laws. No one counted animals. No one knew conservation. The planet thought that there was an unlimited number of just animals. We didn't know species. We didn't know. So they thought there was an unlimited animal. So we ran these things to extinction. So Teddy Roosevelt, and Franklin D. Roosevelt realized the importance, and it was signed into law in 1937 that we're going to have a wildlife period. It's designated for that, and that was the Pittman and Robertson Act. And it worked so well that they extended it to a tax. It moved to handguns, which is a 10% tax on handguns. Then it moved to camping gear, and then it moved to fishing gear. There's a special tax. Are you ready for this one? There's a special tax on fishing. It worked so well for hunting that we got the money specifically for hunting to pay for it all over the United States that we started. It's called the Dingell and Johnson Act. Now, that is specifically for fishing. So now we have these two taxes specifically for hunting and fishing that is not taken out of your tax dollars. If you don't camp, you don't hunt, you don't pay for this. In my opinion, you don't have the right to bitch about it. I apologize for my language, but you don't, because you're not being a part of it. You're being a part of the problem. That's why I posted the snow geese. My whole point was we have 5 million snow geese. You think of a better idea to manage these things because they're eating other species of animals out of house and home. 5 million snow geese are killing 3 million caribou. What's more important? You decide. You got to make that decision. The only dollars that fund that decision is these dollars that we're looking at right here, the Pittman and Robertson Act and the Dingell and Johnson Act. These dollars go specifically to wildlife. It's not from PETA. It's not from your pockets. It's not from Congress. Mike, I'm getting excited here. The only president to ever done for funds not allocated for this is the Clinton administration. And they dipped in to buy an island, $34 million to buy some island in the Pacific to ban guns. It's a whole nother political. I told you we were going to get a little bit political tonight. So they're the only ones that ever dip into this fund. The fact that guns are selling so well right now, we have raised more in the Pittman and Robertson Act than any time in the history.
Really?
Yes. We're talking almost $800 million going straight to wildlife conservation. It's split up between 50 states. And here's how it works. It's depending on the amount of license sold, as far as the Pittman and Robertson Act. And it works for the same way with the fishing, depending on how many licenses sold. That's why Florida will
Sure. Yeah.
Because where will the fishing dollars go? to the state of Florida. Where will the hunting dollars go? To the state of Florida. So all of this is funded by taxes, not from the average taxpayer. Yep. You want to help us think of a plan. Hunting has brought so many animals out of extinction. It brought the wild turkey out of extinction. It was almost hunted to extinction because there was no such thing as management control.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because we often forget that literally in the 1900s, the predominant food was wildlife. And we just hunted it. We just thought it was always going to be there. It's just like when you were growing up to your kid. As a kid, you thought that roof was always going to be over your head. Mom and dad's always going to have food on the table. Well, that's what the early, we're talking 1700s. Some of these animals went extinct in the 1700s. Some of them went extinct as early as 2008. Were finally considered extinct. And we're talking Gulf. Did you know there were seals in the Gulf of Mexico here in South Florida?
No.
You didn't know that because they were the European settlers and the Spanish settlers.
And they come down to like 91. They're probably gone by then.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are animals that we just did not have a management program.
Wow.
I'm a hunter. I'm a conservationist. Hunting is vital, absolutely vital to the species, all animal species, even animals we don't hunt. You know what I mean? The fact is we build on there, live here. We have to manage it. It's our responsibility. That's why Florida has the most acreage, one of the states with the most acreage of sustainable land for wildlife than any other place in the world, for that matter. We have 5 million acres designated for wildlife. How many acres does PETA own designated for wildlife? None. Zero. Zilch. Zap. None. I would love for someone, I think, PETA is an overall protection of animals. So they say, I would love for someone to call and defend and say, look, here's where our dollars are spent. But I've done tons of research to find out where their dollars are spent, and it's mostly in executive pay. I mean, you're talking executive for the FWCs making $60,000 a year, where a PETA executive is making $300,000, $400,000 a year. Come on. Who has the best interest for wildlife? It's our state. Now, I've said it before. I agree with 99% of the decisions wildlife the FWC has made. I follow them. I have friends there. The bear hunt was just not my deal. I supported it because they told me.
Yeah, and you even said there might be a point where you would participate.
Absolutely.
Just not now.
Just not now. Just not now. What I want to see how this hunt works, and they want to see it. I mean, there's always going to be ridicule. There's always going to be people firing off. It's just going to happen. I'm up in the air. Should it have been stopped? Should it not? I think the overall benefit is going to help the neighborhood because we have limited their space to live.
I'm glad it didn't stop. I'm glad that people are trying to get court orders to stop this thing. Didn't succeed because I think you said it incredibly well. Let the FWC do their job because they are in place for the right reason. A state organization.
They're in place for the right reason.
Yeah, a federal organization, not even state. They're a federal organization. They're for the right reason to manage conservation of these animals, the land.
They're not here to wipe them out.
They're not.
It would not benefit them to wipe it out. Do you know how many dollars they would lose? You know what I mean? And
again, remember that this has nothing to do with the cute little bear down the road that got into somebody's garbage. This is not related to that.
No, absolutely not.
So separate. And I think that's what muddied the waters.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I seen they posted that this guy walked in the woods and killed a grandpa bear. The bear could barely see. The bear this, the bear that. In natural selection, our bears have no natural predators, so they can just grow at will. In natural selection, that bear would have been taken out by something else if it was a deer,
sure.
Or if it was, what I mean?
No, that's a good point.
It would have been taken out by something else. So don't give me that this bear was a poor old grandpa. It was named by the
Right.
whatever. It was natural selection. That bear was eating the food of 4 baby bears that could live. I've always said it for years. If there's ever been something, I would rather go before a young child. I would give Oregon,
sure,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It helps the younger generations. This is that same case. We have to quit looking at it like we're just going out there slaughtering these animals. There's going to be a ton of posts out there of these ungodly. I mean, I've read some of them, and I don't dare comment on them because they just don't know all the facts, and it's easy to fire off. Hell, I did it. I was that guy. When this first opened up, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Man, they're hunting bears. What? I'm as mad as hell. When you get the full facts, you get it from both sides. There's always 3 sides to the story: yours, theirs, and the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've always said it: a picture tells 1,000 words, and 990.
WC wants the Florida black bear in Florida
to succeed.
They want them thriving. They want them
Absolutely.
Successful. Period.
Voila. Guess what the black bears eat? The same thing the whitetail eats. How many whitetails are on, in the state of Florida? 3 million plus. I mean, the number is astronomical. A whitetail will eat way more than a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so you got all these animals in conjunction competing on the same areas that we're building houses on. We're building shopping malls. You want to help the bear? Quit shopping. Grow your own garden.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my point, is we're actually doing it to the bear, which is pushing them in areas. Something has to be done.
So the FWC is the middleman for society.
Don't kill the messenger.
And wildlife. Yeah. They're us.
Absolutely.
And for them.
They're trying
right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you hit it right on the head. Yeah. We got the bear on one side. We got the shopping mall on the other. How do we have this bear live successfully when his land has been taken by 40,000 acres of Sears Mall with all the goodies and swimming pools and amusement parks?
But we complain with our blinders on, right?
Yeah, that we're killing these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we started killing these guys when we started building this. That's when we started killing these guys. You know what I mean? The prime land is also the prime land to build on is also the prime land for these animals to live. When you see a house bulldozed, a lot bulldozed for a house, you can bet there was a gopher tortoise on that land.
Sure.
You can bet it. You just killed him.
Point, yeah.
But you know what? You still live in that house with probably 10 dead turtles up under your house. Endangered species under your house that you live in, that you killed because you ordered that house. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a reality.
It is a reality. That's why I have the tortoise app from the FWC. I walk these empty lots and I tag where these tortoises are, because what happens is when they go to get a permit to build on that lot, they look at this location and they go, wait a minute, there's 10 tortoises on that lot.
Yeah.
I've got it right here. They've been tagged, GPS located. I have a picture of their burrow. We're going to go look. Wait a minute. You already bulldozed it? Well, guess what? You're going to pay. You want to help? Help the FWC, help the wildlife. There's tons of taxes. They're not using your tax dollars. You want to help? Go camping with us on December 5th. Buy some camping gear.
Yeah.
You just contributed to the wildlife.
Huge.
Yeah.
Good
Buy
point.
a Panther tag. It's not, this don't go to some highfalutin guy sitting up there on Capitol Hill making tons of money. These guys are paid by funds.
But whatever they don't make the FWC the bad guy, because they're trying to allow us to have a civilization in Florida and maintain a thriving wildlife population.
We said it at the same time, but that is so true.
That's their job, and that's their purpose. And like you said before, they're not getting rich doing this.
Right. Yeah, they're not getting rich.
Taking in huge salaries to make this happen.
I'd be surprised if the cost of the bear hunts, and that's why they made it unlimited, to try to cover some of that cost. Now, that funds will go to more bear research, more property, and or deer population in the Everglades.
Yeah.
This has to be. Meanwhile, we're not getting funded by the tax dollars. So these dollars have to go back into and best used for. You want to look up their freaking their budget, it's online right now. Their 2016-15 budget is $214 million. Where is that coming from? It's not coming from the governor.
Yeah.
This has to come from funds. We're talking general revenue. We're talking administration trust fund, invasive plant control trust fund. And I looked all these trust funds up. This is coming in from not minding your dollars. We're talking, the small portion that comes from the Pittman and Robertson Act. The Johnson Act, Land Acquisition Trust, Marine Resources Conservation Fund, Non-Game Wildlife Trust Fund, which is like birds and, the stuff we can't shoot, Save the Manatees Trust Fund. I mean, all these funds come up to $357 million. $214 million is going to be, that's their budget for the year. So they have a little bit of capital for next year or research for something else. And they have to do this every year. Every year. If you're not contributing to one of those, then you're not contributing. Period. You're just not doing it. You can't sit in the house and not fish, not hunt, not do any of those outdoor products and have a part in what's going on.
Yeah. I've always been one to see not just of this argument, it's kind of
right.
I'm always one to kind of try to see something through your eyes to see what you're
and the objective side.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe the suggestion would be here to take the blinders off a little bit.
Let's open our eyes.
And from wherever your viewpoint of where you're sitting on the black bear hunting thing or hunting in general, where people have very extreme stances on these things.
Absolutely.
Take the blinders off a little bit, educate yourself, find out some of the information, because there might be some really good stuff going on amidst all the turmoils and the headlines and the protesting.
There's a lot of stuff you're not seeing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Who maintains birding trails? The state, FWC. They have these properties, lands. Google it in your area. It's a beautiful trail to walk.
And the fact of the matter is that the people that work for the FWC, and this personally, are real human beings with a passion,
the same passion
for the outdoors, for the state of Florida, and for the wildlife and the conservation and the plants and the animals that live there. You know what I mean? As well as the people. They're one of these people.
Yeah.
They're you and I.
Yeah. They're living right next door to this.
Yeah.
They're feeling the same pressures.
Yeah.
It's, yes, there are crazy freaking hunters out there blowing away, the young, bears that are too small, bears that are, those people got fined and they lost their bear tag. A bear was harvested. The reason they picked, because the bears are now 6 to 8 months old and they can live on their own.
Well, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
And I know time is running out.
Yep. Quickly.
There was a couple bears, and you talked about this yesterday on the radio, that were were cubs. I don't know what, 50 pounds?
Yeah, 40.
Because it was 100 pounds or over. Was that what the limit?
Yes.
Was it 100 pounds?
Yep.
So, and you made the point, the probability of other people who had harvested or killed bears and they got up to the bear and go, whoa, this one's, I'm not turning this in. This is trouble.
Yeah, this is trouble.
So that alone, that factor alone could have easily put it, the 295 well over.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Absolutely. I'm absolutely sure that is what happened. And it happens with deer.
Yeah.
You have discrepancies.
It goes back to our ethics episode.
Yeah, exactly. And it is, in fact, when you put that gun in your hand to be a hunter, you have to do due diligence on your, we just lost everything. What did we lose? What we got? Lost power?
I don't know. Hello? There, still, you're still using.
Am I still here?
Keep talking. We're going.
Okay. So they have to do, the hunter has to do their due diligence.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it's hard to find, it's just exciting when you see a bear, you just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You gotta be that responsible, ethical hunter. That is the key.
I can play with buttons. I don't know. We think we just lost power or something.
We lost power. So as long as we're still on the air, that's fine.
Still kicking, Rodney.
I haven't got any text.
Executive producer, thumbs up in there.
Did we get thumbs up?
It takes 20 seconds. We got a delay here going on here.
So I wish this was a 2-hour.
I know.
Honestly, how we doing? No, yeah.
She says, "I'm awesome. You suck."
That's your girl. If my girl was here, she wouldn't say that. She'd say the opposite.
Kim, what's the deal?
Can't hear Rodney. I can hear you.
What'd you do, Rodney?
Can you hear me?
Try that.
How about now? There we go.
Kim, give me the thumbs up. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, she's got you now.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll edit that out. Fix it in post. It's the beauty of technology.
We'll edit that. So that's where we lie. You know, the bottom line is, let's do the due diligence. I'm sure the FWC has taken in account that we're gonna take those animals that probably wasn't ready. As far as the lactating bears that were taken, you know, they were still
right.
lactating. The cubs are, you know, they anticipated the cubs to be 6 to 8 months old, which can live. Absolutely. There's no bitty cubs. There are some late bloomers, which if they were harvested, you know, it's
sure.
just
Yeah.
same with deer season.
Sure.
You know, the 99% of them will be fine. So that's the key. It just makes it, the media makes it sound worse than it really is. So
Read between the lines with the media.
you got to read between the lines. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You know, absolutely with a grain of salt.
Bottom line is the media is a business as well.
It's all about the ratings.
And they're clickbait and trying to get listeners and viewers.
Absolutely. They're gonna edit. You and I can edit something to
even the weather.
Yeah.
You know, I started to say, well, go to the beat if you're weather, nothing else. But the fact is, even if when there's a hint of a hurricane,
right.
I mean, they glamorize the last battery on the
do?
shelf, the last bottle of water on the shelf.
We ought to shoot a 1-minute video of me just saying, "Man, that sunset is beautiful," and then edit. You know what I'm saying? And then put the two videos together and just really show how
that's true.
How this can go really wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
So guilty of the initial blow up, you know, of the bear hunting thing until I found out the facts.
Sure. Well, and it's great. Again, you were in just on vacationing and passing through Tallahassee, spent some time with Tony, and got to meet some of these other people. Those times are invaluable because it gives you some genuine insight, literally to the workings, the daily grind of what these people are going through. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we met Tony strictly through the internet, through his show, our show, his Hunt Florida, which we have his videos up on our website. And we have become great partners.
Yeah, that's
him.
great.
I mean, it's not like I've known him for years, but I feel like I've known him for years.
Yep.
So Tony's a great guy. Tony, if you're listening, I appreciate everything you do. Thank you for all the info you've been put up there.
Absolutely.
He's a hunter. He's a conservationist. He's everything, you know, so.
He's our Superman.
He's our Superman.
He's our Superman. Someday we'll have him.
So we've got a little bit of time left. Mike, I want to plug our December 5th camping trip. Let's put that out there.
Yep.
December 5th, we'll have a boat. My brother-in-law will have his boat carrying us back and forth. So
and the premise of this camping trip is we're going camping.
We're going camping.
You want to come?
If you want to come.
Really, it's nothing more than that. We're going to try to plan some fun things. But the bottom line is we're going camping.
Yep.
Come on over, bring a tent, bring whatever you want.
Bring your kayak, bring your canoe.
Go to the Rodney Rogers Outdoors website. Details are on there with maps and blah, blah, blah. But we're going camping December 5th. It
was a blast last time. An absolute blast.
It absolutely was.
We've got 10 or 12 confirmations at this point of definites. You know, it's absolutely going to be a blast. And we've got the 100th episode coming up at Gnarly Barley.
Yep.
That's been etched in stone. I'm going to promote the fire out of that.
We'll nail down a date, but we're looking at the first Tuesday in 2016.
So, Mike, it's over.
Yeah, I had a lot I want to say tonight, but let me end with this because I think this is perfect. Quote, I've been reminiscing a lot this week. Not reminiscing, but perspective, retrospective, and just
Retrospective, yeah.
because we're coming to the end of a year. You know, it's that time. I mean, this weekend's November, dude.
I know.
October is gone.
My birthday is coming this weekend.
October is gone. It's Halloween, and November, December, we're looking at the new year, and just been a lot of talking going on. We've talking about new things we want to do with Rodney. Probably getting on the same channel with things. So it's been a lot of planning ahead, looking back, and trying to figure out what we want to do. So I'm excited about the way things are going here with Rodney Rogers Outdoors.
Absolutely.
Incredibly excited with some of the things we have going. But the bottom line, it's all about the passion. We started this because there was a passion for what you do. There's a passion for what I do. We found a way to bring them together.
Yep.
So in the words of Chris Christopherson, I'll leave you with this. Tell the truth, sing with passion, work with laughter, love with heart, because on the end, that's all that matters.
And as my mom always said 1 million times, and I pray I get to say it half as much, you kids get outside and stay.
You're listening to Rodney Rogers. Held it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.